Hi, in this lesson I'm going to demonstrate how to use for loops to perform repetition in C++. So let's go ahead and get started. A for loop has essentially four parts, so let's look at a simple one that's going to display hello world on the screen. So the loop is for, and then the first part will be a loop control variable that we're going to use to control the number of times the loop executes. So I typically use the single letter variable I for a loop control variable in a for loop, although you can use any variable you want. This is the one time that short lettered variables are allowed and maybe even preferred. So our second step is a condition, in this case, or relational expression, and here I want the loop to stop after I reaches 5. The third step is the modification step, which is going to modify the loop control variable so that it becomes false. And then the fourth step is just whatever it is you want your program to do. In this case, display hello world. So let's run this code. Take me a moment to compile. This is more a function of my laptop than anything that's wrong with the compiler. It just that first time through takes it a while. There we go. So there's hello world 5 times. So really, to understand how the for loop works, that's all you really have to know. Now let's look at some variations on the for loop that you might do, although I'm not going to recommend any of these. First of all, the loop control variable should normally be initialized, declared and initialized inside the loop, so that we take advantage of block scoping, so that i's value, or that I, the variable, doesn't exist outside of the scope of the for loop. But you don't have to do that. You can make the loop control variable local to the whole main function by declaring it and initializing it outside the loop. But when you do that, you still need a semicolon there to indicate a null statement, because the compiler is going to be looking for that. So that's the first modification you can make. The second modification you can make, and again I'm not recommending this, but you can do it, is move the modification step outside the loop, like so. And if you do that, nothing really changes other than the fact that now you're modifying after the, well, you're still modifying after the statement is executed, but now if you're reading the code, you can only read it down there. So let's run this. And you'll see that we get exactly the same result. Now, having shown you how to do that, I don't recommend making either of these changes, especially this change, because we really don't want I to be local to main. We want it to exist only inside the for loop. And so by declaring it there, we preserve that block scoping. The increment, or the modification step, that's not as important, but again, we write code as much for people to read as we do for other computers to execute, and programmers are always looking for the increment step after the condition or relational expression. Also notice that there's not a semicolon after the modification step. That's just another in the one of a long series of quirks you're going to learn about C++. You've already seen some as we go along. So with that, that pretty much wraps up what you need to know to write a for loop in C++. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.